Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
There's no reason why you couldn't have had every breath you take while Mario's, surfing on a Koopa shell.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it. Fuck it is probably the modus operandi of this
cares?
film. Yeah.
Okay, well, listen. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And I'm Adam. And I did this the right time.
You did it so right.
Guy. Thank you.
Welcome, Adam.
Hey.
And we just watched the Super Mario Brothers movie. Is that what it's called?
I
Sure.
think so. I
Check
like
if
that
you shit.
your voice went up at the end like you were doing Mario. Movie?
Let's
Wahoo!
go.
Let's
Wahoo.
go indeed.
Hail Satan.
I feel like I owed you guys about 10 minutes of horse shit. Did we skip that part? Do you want to do 10 minutes of horse shit?
Listen,
Tom, what you been up to?
The best thing about 10 minutes of horse shit, Adam, is that it's modular, so it can go at any point in the episode.
Okay, great. I'll be injecting it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like there'll be plenty of horse shit.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
In this. Well, okay. First of all, Adam, thank you so much for being on this.
Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. My deep pleasure.
Do you want to tell people like where people can find you?
Oh, yeah.
Or what you got going on? What's happening in Adam world?
Thank you. Wondrously enough, this happens to sync right up with another interest I have in media, which is my video game podcast, One Upsmanship. If you haven't checked that out, maybe you should. It's with the one and only Michael Swaim. It's on the iHeart Network. It's anywhere you download podcasts or listen to them. It's there. It's called One Upsmanship. It's about video games, specifically which ones are the best ones.
Okay.
And, we do that, and it's good. Check it out.
And you are a Mario expert, right? A historian?
If such a thing exists, then yes, I suppose I am.
Okay.
Did you not hear me? Wisely grinning and snickering at different references the whole time, Dave?
Yes, you would stroke your beard.
I really would.
Sagely
Yeah.
snickering.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, there it is.
And
As we watch this-
historian.
Yeah.
There were like 4 or 5 times that I was the only one that laughed, and I was like, oh, I know a lot more than some of these dorks about this.
Some of these
I'm
idiot
sure,
kids. Yeah.
congratulate. I'm sure the movie was very rewarding for you.
You'd think that when I asked the concessions guy when Dave and I both bought flatbread pizzas because we did.
Yeah.
We bought
burned my
pizzas.
mouth a little.
It was really bad, and I was like, concessions guy. So hey, is it any good? And he's like, I've heard good things, not from critics. That was his answer, and I was like, "Oh, well, good. That's a good answer, I guess."
Yeah, but if the only thing you demand of your film is for it to point at a thing and say, "Hey, remember this thing," and for you to say, "You bet I do," then you're gonna love the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, if you want to high five the past, that's what you're gonna do
If you
for a
want
good
to
90 minutes.
If you want to just high five Nintendo flashcards for an hour and a half, boy, this picture is a fucking gift from the heavens.
Yeah,
This was
long jump right into your heart.
Yeah, this was really bizarre because what you guys are saying, it's that it felt. I mean, I think we all have the same unified vision of what this movie was. It felt like a movie they had written and they reskinned it. You know what I mean? Where like the adventure itself didn't feel like it. Or like
it was a bad story. It was a badly told story.
It didn't feel like anything really Mario except for like we have to get from A to B. Let's get in the carts. You know, here comes the bad guy and he's in the castle and he's doing the stuff. But like the actual core story, there was nothing about it that felt Mario to me.
I had three very scorching hot takes that should not all be deployed at once.
Okay.
All right,
Or do you want to?
you let me know.
Do you want to just lob the opening volley with one?
I do. I kind of believe this might be one of our first major AI generated scripts. Like it because it specifically it does every hero's journey structure point, but none of them connect emotionally.
Right. There's very little to do with characters in this.
Well, you don't know, like they don't do stuff like okay, let's skip to the very end of the film. Why do Mario and Luigi stay in the Mushroom Kingdom according to the movie?
Fucked if I know.
They don't have a
just
reason.
Do a cut.
There's
They just cut to them, and they're living there.
Why does Princess Peach need or want Mario?
That was a weird part.
Huge
because
problem.
she says like you're a human, and then she's like, there's a lot of like people.
Well, like, Toad's not surprised to see another random human walking around, even though
Right.
apparently the only one they've seen since him is when Peach came there as a baby. Like this movie is loaded with moments like that where characters say and do things with absolutely no motivation.
Yeah, because then he's like, I want to come with you, and she's like, all right, let's do a training montage. And I was thinking,
And
like,
then he
okay, so
fails the training montage,
And she's like,
and
"Yeah,
she still brings him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense.
But also, like, I thought, like, oh, okay, because he's a human, there's some secret thing there. Because she was surprised that he was a human, but then they never follow up on that.
So
it's just sort of things happening, people
Yeah.
deciding things
It's things
to happen.
happening. Yeah. Well, that's why it felt very AI to me. It felt like it was
Yeah.
checking a bunch of boxes without a human being understanding if it will connect emotionally behind it.
I think I might push back on that a little bit, although I do, because man, every joke beat, like they do the slow motion gag that's in every Illumination.
They do it like 4 times.
Yes, they do it constantly. It's not only that they're repeating jokes from other Illumination movies and movies of this time, it's they repeat jokes within the same movie. But
Yeah.
anyway, what I was going to say about pushing back slightly is that my blazing hot take on this movie is that it's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the second half of the movie really picks up, but the first half is like interminably exhausting because the first half of the movie is nothing but nonstop rapid fire. Here's a reference. Here's a reference. Here's a reference. It's just bombarding you with references to the game that none of them connect together. But it's trying to cram in as many references as it can for like the first 30 minutes, not only visually with what you're seeing, but also with like the music. So the music keeps incorporating music from all these different Mario games and all these different levels. It's fucking dizzying. Like
Yeah, it is.
And all it is for this first 30 minutes, like I was sitting there in the theater being like, man, I'm really in trouble if the whole movie is like this.
It's
They
not even
Really
for
is
30
just
minutes though, because
assaulting you with references to the game for the first half.
it takes like 15 minutes for them to get in. I feel like even maybe longer. And this is a weird thing to say. That was too long. Like when I liked the little bit with the dog, that was cute.
That was funny.
But I was like,
Yeah.
I was still wondering in the back of my head, like, I didn't want to see them actually do plumbing. Like, this is a weird thing to spend a lot of time on.
It created a problem too because they decided they're going to do the hero's journey structure here. They decided Mario has to go back to Brooklyn at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, but there's never been a point in Mario where we cared about that. And I know that, like, yeah, but this is a movie, we're fleshing it out. But don't though, because all the Brooklyn stuff was superfluous to what we're there for, and then kind of ruined the emotional catharsis of the movie because they should have stayed in Brooklyn. Why wouldn't they stay in Brooklyn? Given what happened, they'd be kings there. Kings of Brooklyn.
At the end, it's like his family and everybody's like, "You did it! You saved Brooklyn!" And then they leave. Yeah, you're right. It cuts to them waking up in the Mushroom Kingdom, and I was like, "That's weird."
Why would they do
allegiance to that place? Yeah.
Why would they? Also, it's a nightmare hellscape with bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
Like who would? You don't want to live there. Do they even eat in the Mushroom Kingdom?
know.
It's not clear if they do.
Right. It's filled with mushrooms,
They
which
eat
I guess
mushrooms.
Mario hates.
Yeah, right.
And Mario hates mushrooms.
Because of Hero Flaw. I didn't understand why that was a thing. Yeah, that was really bad. Really bad. I didn't mind the references so much, Tom, but maybe that's because they were pandering right to my big gamer boy heart.
My problem with it was doing all of that at the expense of actually telling a story.
Yeah.
And so it was showing you stuff like, here's the map from Mario World, here's this musical cue, here's this Nintendo cartridge. Here's a bar that's the Duck Hunt game. It's doing all this stuff for the first half of the movie. No kidding. And it's not even like it does like the side scrolling thing for the opening scene. It suddenly becomes a Mario side scroller where they're trying to run across town to get to this job, but like it doesn't really do anything interesting with it. So it's not like all it's doing is just making a quick, like I said earlier, flashcards, and that's not even really that much of a joke. It really is just showing you the thing from the game and being like, remember, and then the audience claps, and then we move on. So it was weird to me that they wouldn't take some of those ideas, like, oh, if we do a side-scrolling sequence, let's play around with that. What could we actually do with that so that it doesn't just look like you're watching somebody play a Mario level? And the movie doesn't do any of that, I argue, until the Rainbow Road sequence. Like, that's the first time for me when the movie actually got interesting, was during the Rainbow Road. And then the finale I thought was kind of interesting. The stuff in the castle with the wedding and then all the way into the streets for the most part. Like, for me, the movie picked up in the second half because it felt like it had gotten all the references out of the way. And so then it finally felt like it was like, okay, let's play around a little bit. And now that we've gotten all the shit out of the way up front.
But it still didn't really do anything in terms of like, like, all right,
oh no,
so,
goodness no! I'm just saying,
like,
nothing happened.
I know what
it becomes infinitely more interesting in the second half because they're attempting to do things.
Right. It's just I was kind of shocked at how little they tried. It really doesn't feel like they tried much because, like, you think of something like the Lego Movie. Lego Movie started with the idea of like, okay, we have these characters who are Lego characters. What do we do with that? What is the arc of that character? You know, like the idea of like this rut that the character's going through, or like you're this person, and it was like related to the world that they had created, right? Mario is just sort of there. And they barely have an arc, and they're not thinking of anything like clever to say about the world. You know what I mean? Where it's not really like, and part of it has to do with the fact that this isn't for adults, and I appreciate that. That's my favorite thing about this movie.
It wants the adults in the theater because they were bringing out those 80s licks.
It does. Oh yes, but I think what was interesting to me is that it felt like a standard kids movie, and the good part of that is that it felt like they were making it for kids, and they knew adults would be in the audience, so they go, here's some 80s music to keep you occupied, but they weren't trying to they weren't trying to be Pixar, they weren't trying to be overly emotional, and I think that's okay, you know, like you're making a kids movie, but it also felt like, for that same reason, it was like, this might as well just be a fucking Minions movie. Like, it could have been any movie, because they're not doing anything unique to Mario in the movie in any way, shape, or form, other than it's just the characters are skinned that way. Like, Mario didn't even feel like a unique character, you know what I mean? Him and Luigi felt interchangeable. Luigi was kind of a coward, but so was Mario. And then
that was weak. They both sort of had one journey together, which was like, why?
They're pretty separate for most of it, so they don't even do anything about, like, you know, you could do an observation of like Luigi is sick of being in his brother's shadow or something like that.
That's what the second film is, Dave.
Right, but you could say something about these characters that we know in some way, but they make Luigi just sort of be captured, and they make Mario have to go get Luigi, and then it's a lot of just like, okay, now go here, now go here, now go here, and then the movie's over. And it just felt like they really didn't try in terms of the story, to a shocking level that, like, you could just ultimately the only thing that makes this Mario is just the fact of what Tom's saying, that they just cram in references. And that, I thought that was kind of shocking, honestly. I thought they'd try harder.
They didn't feel like they felt too beholden to do nothing controversial. That seems like the first and foremost thing is like, we're going to do nothing controversial. It's going to be like we're going to eliminate anything that might rub a 2023 audience the wrong way. We're going to like just play all the classics. Like, I thought, for instance, having a Mario Kart scene, which I get why they did it, felt very algorithmically generated in the first place.
It was like we have to do it.
I get it. So we're gonna get soccer next time, and we're gonna get Smash Brothers in the third one. Like, okay, you know, I see that, but it felt tacked on, like you said. I think the disappointment is that we didn't need a movie. Nobody needed this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, gamers didn't need it. But like, I think once it was promised to an audience that really cares about this, franchise, the hope is that you get depth out of a movie. That's what movies bring that video games don't.
Right.
Is depth, like choices. We're going to go in a direction and define this character further.
Right, in a way that makes sense. Like Mario, the way they define him in this is they're like, his father doesn't approve of him. And I'm like, okay. Like, what a boring addition
weird
to Mario's
choice.
Character. Yeah, like that doesn't say anything about the original character to me in a way that expands the character. You know what I mean?
They made two creative choices, and unfortunately, and maybe I'm willing to acknowledge perhaps I have Mario blinders on for this. Neither of them helped the movie much. One of them is that they went into the Donkey Kong universe and gave Donkey Kong this weird Oedipal conflict with his father.
Yeah.
That was like, was that part of the games? I don't remember that at all. So like, it really defines him as being this like guy who's needs to impress his dad, which is like, that's a dumb, I don't know. I didn't love that. And they decided Princess didn't really need Mario because they didn't want to do a damsel in distress story. And I see that, but I guess this is my next controversial take. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe they should have made a different movie then. You know what I mean? Like if Princess doesn't need Mario, then why are we doing the story at all?
It's tough because I think there's
because they're making $1 billion this week.
I mean, of course, I know. I get it. Everyone's going to watch the movie. Most people are going to think this movie is great. And I am not, by the way, advocating, let's do lots of damsel in distress stories. I'm not advocating that.
No, but I know what you mean, which is that's one of the few unique things to the plot of Mario.
You got to do it. It's weird that they didn't do it.
Even if they don't do it, they still have to do something that feels like Mario.
Right.
Again, I keep going back to it. Just feels like there's a skin on this, and like part of it's also just like remember when they got caught in the fish? Did that matter? What the fuck was that? Like
they were there for a scene, and then they ride. I don't know,
rocket.
Thousands of miles on on Donkey Kong's barrel rocket.
It's a lot of things like
weird.
that where it just felt like so when the characters fight, when Mario fights Koopa or when Mario fights Donkey Kong, they just sort of hit each other until one of them wins. And it's stuff like that where I was like, are you at least going to be like clever with Mario? Like they use the power-ups.
Yeah, well, you do
power-ups
stuff.
Don't really,
right.
Yeah, and that's what it all just through and through felt like.
Here's a huge question. Does Mario jump on anyone?
He
jumps on
like
a
that
turtle. Not enough.
One Goomba. You noticed there was only one Goomba? That weirded me out.
By the way,
where's
the
all
fact
the fucking
that
Goombas?
Yeah,
it's just
the
funny to
Goombas
me
were
that Mario's
tucked away,
flying through this movie punching people, and it's not a single jump. Okay,
right,
not a single jump on somebody, thus reducing them to ashes the way they should be.
It's weird that they didn't again, I don't know, build a robust world. Okay, you got this King Koopa. What if it's like a dystopian world where maybe a different dimension where dinosaurs evolved, and then they go through, and there's
Dave's,
a
Dave's
fungus.
trying to do a bit.
Get out of here, Dave.
Get out of here.
I'm just saying that movie thought about it a little harder.
Dave, get out of your own podcast. I've had it with you already.
There was less to work with at that point, though, too.
It's true.
The worlds have been way, way more fleshed out now, so that you can build a very generic hero story just using elements from Mario games, and that's what this is. That's what they did.
There are they made 3 interesting choices that added to the canon that I liked. I'm willing to list them now for you. The first one is Princess is not from the Mushroom Kingdom. She's a human from somewhere else. I'm okay with that. That's an idea.
They do sequel tease the Marvel shit where she's like, I don't know my origins, and I'm like, yeah, tell me in this movie because I'm not going to watch the sequel. But
yes, you are. You fool.
No.
You will watch it. I promise you. You will.
Yeah, 2 years from now, Dave, we're going to be recording Super Mario Brothers 2.
I'm going to be laughing from my grave.
Stark predictions all around.
So that's my first. The second thing is they actually included one character from Super Mario Galaxy, which was that blue star sprite character, and that character was bananas and wonderful. Like, right?
I liked that, but I also expect it now because there's this element of kids movies where, again, they need a little something for the adults here and there. And that's their like offering to the adults, right?
The nihilist star that's like, we're all gonna die, and like, thank God, sweet relief. That was pretty funny. I was into
It was. Oh no, I did like it. I absolutely liked it.
Yeah.
I knew why it was there. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I know what you're doing, movie. I know why you're doing this.
It also is a
you did
template. Yeah, it also is a template. And the third thing that you could have predicted from the minute you saw the casting list, but I still loved it, was Jack Black as Bowser doing
Jack
songs. It was
great.
good. It was good.
And not just doing the songs, he's great in this movie.
Yeah,
he is.
He's really good.
Like, it's a really good performance. And I like that they didn't... This is something I expected that actually was better than I expected. Was I assumed they were going to make Bowser the fool, right? Because that's a common thing that they do in Illumination movies and then also in kids movies, particularly in recent kids movies, is they make the bad guy buffoonish so that he's not that scary. But Bowser's pretty fucking scary in this, and he's never really the buffoon except in a specific way. Like, he's not a buffoon in the way that he's incompetent. He's a buffoon in the way that he's hopelessly in love with the princess and sings a goofy song about her.
And it's very funny.
Yeah, it's extremely funny.
I appreciated that because they were like, listen, we have Jack Black.
We have Jack Black.
Right. Yeah. Let's let him go to town. And it was the right move.
Piano.
Yeah.
It made, because like that is actually like a core element of the story that they really couldn't get rid of, which is like Bowser has to kidnap the princess for like really weird reasons.
I did love that they had him wearing his crisp white suit from Mario Odyssey.
From Mario Odyssey.
Like,
yeah, they were doing it. They picked liberally from all the different franchises, and I think they were right about everything, basically. Except for not enough Yoshi, and they put Yoshi in a teaser at the end, but still not enough.
Yeah, like it was the ending of the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. They do like By the way, I just want to point out that in the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie, they go to the world because there's a flood in Brooklyn. And they have to stop the flood.
There's a reason.
So when that was happening, I was just like, "Ooh, come on, do it all!
Just do it.
I want you to do it all."
Dennis Hopper Bowser, can we
Dennis
get it?
Hopper Bowser. It's just animated to look like Dennis Hopper.
There were definitely, I mean, there's stuff in this movie that's fine. It's just, this is a solid, like, I would say 2 out of 5, maybe even 1.5 out of 5 stars if I had a star rating, where it's like, there was the Jack Black stuff was fun. Everybody's doing a fine job. It just, boy, what a dull movie for the most part. Like,
I think
I was mostly just kind of fucking, it was just tiring.
I think it made me, it's sad because the cynicism that feels like it's behind this is right. And that scares me a little bit. Like
that's the biggest bummer. Yeah.
Like when I said the AI thing, I'm not kidding. It really does feel like a script that a human being didn't write. And by the way, I'm scanning through critics, and more than one of them pointed out it does feel like an AI generated movie.
Yeah, it's very cynical. Here's what it is for me is that, like, going back to the nature of kids movies, is that, like, I love a good Pixar movie. But I think those movies are almost too more for adults than kids to a fault sometimes. Right.
Like Inside Out is one of those movies. It's like, do kids love this?
Right. Disney, when it tries, still has it, as far as I'm concerned. The Frozen movies, Moana, anything that's like new, they do. And I think Disney always will. They're just so good at what they do when they actually give a shit. But of course, there's a cynical aspect of Disney now where they're doing these remakes. Illumination to me has always been, we're making the most like trash kids movie, which isn't to say that kids don't like it. To more of just like, we're going to try the least amount is the vibe I get off of them, where they know they can just repeat jokes. They can just do like funny Minions bullshit.
Illumination is the well liquor of kids movies.
And like, I just want to make it clear, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily, because kids enjoy it.
Sure, and you know, some of the Illumination movies are fine, and like,
yes,
and this is kind of the thing that bothered me the most about watching this movie, and it's related to the barrage of references in the first half, more so than any kids movie I've seen in a long time. Even something within Illumination, something like the Minions, which does have a huge merchandising component to it.
Yeah.
This movie felt like a commercial in a way that no movie I have seen recently, like in
really
a long time, has felt like a commercial.
I guess that's what I was going to get to. It's
so centered on adoration and celebration of this product.
Yes. And that's what I felt was honestly weird, is that the thing they didn't go for that most people do in like Barbie movie, Lego movie, fucking emoji movie, I don't know, where they actually like they're thinking about the product, and it is a product, but they're thinking about like the brand in a way where they want to do something at least clever and interesting. Yeah. And it was just so shocking that this didn't care to do anything interesting.
Well,
like
that tells you they
so weird.
That tells you they feel like they're already in the place they want to be. They just want to make more out of it. Like,
right.
So like, for instance, to contrast it with the Sonic movie, a thing we all knew had to happen.
Oh yeah, that's another one where they do something at least weird.
Yeah, because Sonic has something to prove. Like, and Sonic is an uneven franchise, and so therefore it feels more beholden as a movie to justify its existence with choices.
Yeah, whereas this just knew all it needed to do is the bare minimum, and it did that, and it's going to make all the money.
Yeah, it just pointed at all the toys, and everybody said, "Yep."
I mean, it's just weird because I guess I'm spoiled because it's like I just expected more than that. Than just a kids movie.
Why did you?
Well, that's what I mean, because they've been doing that, right? The Barbie movie is like, we're going to be meta. We're going to make some observation about it.
I mean, I hear you, but Barbie is not the most important video game franchise of all time.
I guess it's weird because Mario is the most important. I thought they would they don't have to be meta with it, but you'd think they'd at least like try a little harder. You know what I mean?
I think another reason to play, and it's not a good creative reason, but another reason I could see to play in a very comfortable, not controversial, simple, straightforward sandbox that just, like I said, just telling a very basic story that just pulls everything from the Mario universe, which there's plenty in there for them to do, is because Mario's a huge global franchise. It's not, like Barbie, which is just pretty much in the West. Like everybody in the world plays Mario,
yeah. That's right. It's like, so they can't cater to one particular sensibility.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
But they could
as
at least
global, quote unquote, as possible. So,
they could have at least been interesting. Like Marvel
I'm not
is
saying you can't.
too.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't. It's just like, I don't know.
It's just I'm still shocked at how basic this was.
I would say
it really is weird to me.
I would say what they don't actually have enough confidence in Mario. Like they could have more confidence that if they chose to be something, the fans would have gone with them on it. I think maybe that's where
they still would have sold all the same number of tickets on opening weekend because the same number of people are going to want to go see the Mario movie. So why not make it good?
Why not make it good? Why not make it interesting? It feels like the writers who made this didn't play the games or weren't fans or didn't even sit and think about it. Like you said, Adam, it really does feel like AI. But even if it was AI, you'd think someone would like do a pass or like figure, because it just feels like they reached in a box, got a standard plot and just threw it on Mario and was like, we're good to go. Like it felt like a straight to streaming like sequel that they were doing for something else. Like, it's just so weird to me how little they cared. Or at least that's how it seems, like how little consideration for the property of Mario and what could make that unique. It just feels like they just threw together a standard kids movie.
It's that they didn't feel that, and they might not be wrong about this, they didn't feel that caring about Mario meant establishing a cinematic version of Mario that was distinct from the video
No, and
games.
They're 100% right because they're making all the money, you
Yeah.
know?
Right. I mean, like, so let me ask you this, Dave, because you're begging for movie pitches. Here you go, dude.
Okay.
Do you want to see the Mario, like, would you have rather the version where Mario was just a plumber from Brooklyn and wasn't good at any of this shit until he finally figures it out in the third act? Do you want to see that movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think I do either, but that's what a lot of these movies are. Or were, at least,
Right.
in the past.
So to be honest, I don't know what I want from a Mario movie. It's more of just like this. I was surprised because I was like, I want them to try a little harder, right? Like that was what was surprising about this to me is that like the characters are interchangeable. There's no real like arcs. There's no real like they're not really saying anything interesting about Mario. They're not bringing anything to the table. It just felt like they were going through the motions in a way that was so dispassionate that it was kind of shocking considering that it was a Mario movie. Like, it's like you'd think they'd pay some writers to like really think about this in a way that would make it interesting. But it's just, they did the bare minimum.
Right.
Bare minimum.
They didn't want to be interesting. They wanted to be safe.
What about a version, Dave, that starts with Baby Mario? Which, by the way, they did allude to Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, which made me laugh.
We got a little of that, yeah.
Where we find out Mario
in a bizarrely placed flashback.
Oh yeah, just like what? I get it. You
Why
wanted
is
to
this
include
happening here?
Right. So like, what if Baby Mario also came through the portal with Baby Princess? You know what I mean? And like they're separated twins from birth or some shit.
I was gonna say one of the things that's weird to me that both Mario Brothers movies do is like I don't think I need Mario in the real world.
Yeah, why do we need that? Why?
Yeah, I think this could have started with here's the Mushroom Kingdom. I'm Mario. I live here. It should have started like it ended, basically, of them waking up like another day as the Mario Brothers. I didn't need that weird like real world stuff.
It would have been funny if he was a shitty plumber in the Mushroom Kingdom and we'd never known that until this movie started, and he still had to prove he wasn't just a plumber to the Toads. You know what I mean? Like he's a shitty plumber and they're like, you're not a hero, bro. Captain Toad, that's a hero. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been funny.
There's stuff they could have done that also just made it a little more efficient. Like I don't need the real world in this because Mario.
The real world was weird. The scene where he's
really
like
weird.
They're sitting down to eat dinner with their like huge extended family. I'm like, is this the Mario movie?
I honestly believe
so weird.
I honestly believe that was there so that they could have the Mario voice actor, the real one, have a part in the movie because he plays the dad and that one guy in the very beginning. And as soon as you heard it,
and the voice on the commercial too.
Yes, as soon as you heard the voice, you were like, "Oh, you did know this was the wrong move." Like you know what I mean? You knew this was wrong. You could have had him. What are you doing? Bummed me out.
Also, both the '93 Mario and this, they have a shitty van. And
that was funny.
Plumbing.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird, but like you know what I mean, where it's like just start in the world, and I don't even need our universe to exist in that. They look like weird freaks. The idea that they're humans is offensive to me just to begin with. Where it's like they had to like the moment I saw other people, I was like, how are they gonna reconcile this?
Like there's other like humanoid characters in Mario, so are Wario and Waluigi also from the real world?
Right.
Yeah, and then they're going to have to
monsters.
They're going to have to figure out how New Donk City works at some point in this franchise now, where there are normal sized human beings and Mario's is a tiny little maniac.
Exactly.
Like how they're going to do that?
Homunculus running around.
Yeah. I really think they should have just been like, here's the Mushroom Kingdom. This is our world. We're in it. It's like Lord of the Rings or anything else. Like this is the fantasy world we're just in. And let's go from there.
I understand why you would want that to be the case, but I feel like I would still get hung up on, like, why are they humanoid plumbers in this fantastical kingdom? There's no plumbing here.
I don't know, man. I see, because to me it's like, look,
it's all plumbing.
like if that's the reason that they felt beholden to it, why do power-ups exist? Why is there a rainbow road? You know what I mean? It's like, dude, the whole thing falls apart if you're not going to go with the whimsy of it.
That's all magic. That's fine. It's there is a specificity to the fact
about
that
being a plumber.
About being
Well,
a
fair
plumber
enough.
and like the only 2 human plumbers in a universe where like it's not plumbing is not really what you do with the pipes. They're like magical transport tubes. I don't know. It it would present another interesting problem for me.
Right. I don't know. If you want them to be like from the real world, just don't dwell on it too much, I guess. It's just so weird that they did that. Let's do their family. Like, and again, it didn't really amount to anything. It was just like...
It also looked like a scene out of the Clumps because everybody kind of vaguely looks like Mario.
Right. Also, why would the dad be disappointed that they're plumbers? That's a very stable job.
And that they just started their own business?
Yeah. It's a really weird thing to like. It'd be one thing if they were like had a rock band, you know?
Yeah,
but it's like they're fucking plumbers. It was just like it was such again, it felt like an algorithm where they're just they needed an arc and they did bare minimum.
They had clearly worked for this other guy first, so they had apprenticed. They're not just like, hey, we're plumbers now. And so they've started their own business. And they had a commercial that was on TV.
And their dad's like, you're a failure.
Right. You got a hopeless piece of shit, Mario. Take it into your room.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I'm not hungry anymore.
It's just so weird and lazy. I don't know. It's just the whole thing felt weird and lazy. There was nothing clever.
Why would you beat up on your son?
Scene,
He's trying.
And also, when Mario goes to his room, he has a child's room.
Yes, he does. I was like, wait, maybe ask the question. How old is he supposed to be?
How old are they supposed to be?
Like, I thought he was 40.
One more piece of like in that scene, like when Mario gets like upset and gets up to go to his room. They're serving each other spaghetti, right? And it's mushroom spaghetti. And Mario's like, ew, mushrooms. Right. And Luigi's like, well, I like mushrooms. That's fine. I'll eat them. And then like Mario's mom Mario just starts putting his mushrooms on Luigi's plate, which is, fine, whatever. That's like a gag. But then Mario's mom comes out and puts a bowl of cereal in front of Luigi. How old is Luigi?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How old are they supposed to be?
Maybe I'm with their dad. Maybe I'm with their dad, Tom. Maybe we're... You're 40 years old. You have a video game console. What are you doing?
He lives in a child's room, and his brother eats cereal for dinner. Well, the rest of the family is eating pasta. What the fuck
I don't understand.
In that scene?
There's some profound failure going on in the Mario family.
Again, it feels like AI, where it's like they looked at the script and it was like, Luigi gets cereal, and they're like, okay, the script says it, let's just do it.
Is he being punished? Why can't he have the pasta? He just said he likes mushrooms.
I wish I could eat the pasta.
Shouldn't she be giving that to Mario?
Right, should the cereal be for Mario?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't deserve cereal. Cereal's a tier up from mushroom pasta.
He goes to a room that is no joke, wall-to-wall Nintendo posters, and it just like it looks like a 12-year-old boy's room.
It also creates a time vortex,
right?
Yeah, it creates a weird time vortex where the Nintendo exists in 2023, but it's the 80s version, and he's playing Kid Icarus.
And that's the sort of shit where it's like, then just like Wreck-It Ralph it. If they're going to make all the meta references where Nintendos exist, I don't know, just have someone get sucked into a Mario game. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't know what this world building they did was and why they did it, because it didn't make a very good world.
I want to see the movie where Mario is like the hard luck indie boxing referee from Punch-Out.
Yeah. Fuck it.
That seems like a potential sequel when they do a spin-off TV series.
I had one thing that I actually wrote things down in the theater, which I don't often do, but I wanted to make sure that I remembered this thought.
Yeah.
When Mario's flying to the obstacle course on the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yep.
Part of it is this huge cardboard target cutout of Bowser that he has to smash through. Now, at this point, he doesn't know what Bowser looks like, so who does he think that is? Does he think it's a specific person, or does he just think it's just like some random, like a zombie target that they just put up in there? Like, he's like, oh, shit, look at that cool fucked up dinosaur. Wouldn't that be weird if that dinosaur was what?
Well, that's a big. So that's one of the things that happens in this movie is characters accept their situation immediately. Mario gets sucked into this world, and it takes 20 seconds for him to accept it all. And like, at no point is he like, I want to get out of here. I want to go back home. It's just like, there's a castle. There's a princess. You got to fight this dinosaur. And he's like, got it. This is all good and normal. Yeah.
The movie acknowledges it at one point when Peach is about to jump into the pipe. And she's talking to the crowd. She's like, we're going to go to the Donkey Kong Kingdom and ask for their, and then one of her subjects raises his hand and points at Mario and says, who is that? Because they haven't seen him. And then she just, but it's like a Age of Ultron thing. Yeah, it's just like, he doesn't matter. And then
he doesn't matter.
So they realize that, she has no reason to take him with her, and nobody in the kingdom knows who Mario is or should care who he is. But let's just address that by making it a joke, and then don't actually address it.
Well, that's why you don't care about the movie for the last like 2/3 of it, because we're not invested in his journey at all, because he's not on a journey really. He's stumbling from thing to thing. Sorry, Dave.
Right, and if you're gonna do that, then just again make the movie start with them waking up in the world. They're the Mario Brothers. Maybe they're like, we're going to the castle today to fix a leak. Mario already knows who the princess is. He has like a crush on her. That's like, oh, I can't believe we're meeting the princess today. You know what I mean? And then have him go to the castle.
They could have just been plumbers in the Mushroom Kingdom. Why not?
Yeah, and then have him like overhear something about Koopa and like be like, like that idea of like, you're just a plumber. You can't involve yourself in this. And you can still make the princess like, not a damsel, but you can still have her be incapacitated in some way or captured and like escape on her end. But Mario is like recruited to go get her. Like you could do stuff with this to make it,
Yeah, you could Die Hard it a little bit, right? Where he's accidentally becomes, the Mario that we expect him to be.
Right, and you can put him in the world in a way that makes a little bit of sense, at least.
Now that you're explaining it like that, I do want them to just be plumbers in this fantastical kingdom, because I want to see what kind of shits those little toadstool people moose down the pipes.
God, yeah,
it's bigger than them, Tom.
Shits.
It's bigger than them.
Yeah.
It must be just them, like them shaped piles of poop,
like those things,
like a snowman, a poo man.
Yeah, but inverted. You know what I mean? So it comes out real gnarly. It comes out real gnarly, Tom.
Yeah. Just a horror show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
like
screaming
the
at
fucking
night.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
There's like this weird stringy fungi.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why Bowser's mad, because have you been down to the sewers? It's dark down there.
It's bleak.
Right.
Because he's taking his own shits, and those are also ungood shits.
Yeah, no, those, look at him. Those are against
And honestly,
God.
Yeah, what's he eating?
You wouldn't think it, but the princess, it's all bones and blood coming out of her. It's wild. She's the worst of them all.
Just
by the way,
pellets.
I still believe they don't eat.
Lord knows what the princess eats, because she's apparently a human. So, like, what does she have to consume
they show
in this
them
world?
Catching those fishes.
Do they eat them?
Presumably.
I mean, you're doing a lot of work there, buddy. I don't know.
Does she have dairy? Because I've got to tell you, I wouldn't eat any dairy coming out of this place.
I wouldn't milk anything in this kingdom.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, meat. Yeah. Like, is she malnourished? Does she have these things? Because they don't know how to feed her, right? Like, she can't tell them because she was just a baby.
Toad was a little cook. He's cooking some stuff up.
That's true. He's cooking.
Was he cooking something? Yeah. Oh, he did cook something.
He does.
Okay, was that a reference?
I assume it's that like Toad adventure. That's what he looked like. Is from his little Toad side
Captain
game.
Toad, the Captain Toad thing. I never played that game, but I believe it must be something.
So I get that they wanted to tease something at the end. I don't think Yoshi was the thing to tease. Now that I'm thinking about it, Wario would have been the thing to go with, right? Like,
or it should have been whatever that goddamn frog is at the end of Mario 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Wart?
Sure.
Yeah, Wart is the name of that boss. Yeah, that would have been an interesting pull to bring him all the way back, because he never appeared again, I don't believe. Did
they do too much Mario 2? Because that's all a dream, right?
Shy Guys. The Shy Guys are the only thing that I saw.
Oh, you're right.
There was no Birdo. Birdo didn't make it in.
No Birdo.
No, there was none of that mouse with the eye patch or whatever.
Yeah.
Nope, didn't bring him back. Yeah, there was
Danger
no,
Mouse
Threw
looking
any
guy.
turnips.
no, there was no turnip plucking. I really
No
thought
doors. Those are doors.
Peach floats down at the
That
end
was
of the obstacle
great.
course, and that's from 2.
I love that.
But okay, so like again, this is so weird to me. Is like, okay, you're making a Mario movie. Can't you at least make the progression like this adventure where like there's dungeons, like like in the game. I was hoping there'd be like the flying fucking boats or something.
Yeah, the airship.
The airships. I thought they could have easily just done Mario's on an adventure and he's hitting, in the environments could at least reflect the games, right?
What do you? I don't know what you mean by that. All those environments are from games.
Yeah, I'm saying that like, so they're on this adventure. They got to go
Right.
Like, have them do like a quicksand bit. Have them do like a dungeon. Like they fight Bowser on like this island, and it's the wedding, and I don't know. It just none of it felt. It's like again the skin of the game, but you could do like the progression of the game, right? The game has a progression. There's like a lava land, that's near the end. There's like quicksand that's in between. Like if you did like mean. Mario, if it was like Mario going from A to B, because what's weird to me is I thought they'd at least do that when they're like, let's go.
You're right. The adventure is weirdly truncated. He gets to Mushroom Kingdom Palace. They go to DK's place. They leave from DK's place on the carts. They get captured by Bowser, and then they're just back in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah,
and they
don't see a lot.
To be in the stomach of this fish. Like, it's weird. Like, you'd at least think, okay, we're making a Mario movie. What's the one thing we know about Mario? It's about getting from A to B, right? Like, that is most Mario games is you're trying to get to this place. And it's weird that they didn't even really do that. Like, I expected Bowser's Castle to be like a thing that they arrive at. And they're like, we're at Bowser's Castle. Now to enter inside, and there'll be booby traps and stuff to fight our way through. Something like that, but it doesn't even really have that aspect that's in the games.
What they do is they run through a bunch of levels you've seen in games. Like there were a few from Odyssey, there were a few from like I saw them all. I mean, they didn't do the feeling of a Mario game, if that's what you're asking for. I agree with that.
They didn't do the adventure. They just did, like I said earlier, they just did the flashcard version. It was like, here's the desert level. Okay. And it's just part of a montage as they're walking.
Again, it really doesn't feel like a Mario story. And that's weird to say. Because I didn't know what one was before going into this, but it just doesn't feel that Mario to me.
Because he's not driving it.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep harping on this, and I know that it sort of suggests that Princess is in the way, but I think that is the problem. That like they have two protagonists here, and they needed actually three, because Luigi's kind of a protagonist at the end.
Look, they nerfed Luigi.
Yeah, they really did.
Cast him aside.
Right,
yeah.
they put Luigi in the role that Princess normally gets in the game.
He's the damsel in the movie.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. But Princess's capability and the fact that she's the expert leading us from thing to thing means Mario's not in the driver's seat.
Right.
So you're
but
like,
even
well,
that, like Mario 2's like that, right? You can play as the princess. You can switch off.
You play as one of them, right?
Yeah. So like, do like a fellowship, right? It's like they're all there. They're all going from A to B. You could still have them go on the adventure. You know what I mean? But they don't really even do that.
They wanted to skip to like the characters you're waiting to see, right?
I don't know what they wanted.
Well, it's very clear. Like they're like, Donkey Kong. You expect to see him, you're gonna. And then like Mario Kart, you expected to see it, you're gonna.
Right.
That's really it. The only way you could be on an adventure is if, like they were stuck they can't transport through pipes. They got to work through a land to get to a castle. They just didn't do that.
It's just weird that they didn't, right? Like,
I guess it is.
It's like a Mortal Kombat movie where they don't fight. That's the one mechanic of Mario we know is get from A to B to go to the castle.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. There were surprisingly few references to the hover backpack from Super Mario Sunshine. Thought that would make it in, but it did not.
No one jumped in a fucking painting.
Not a single painting. Yeah. What the fuck?
No, nobody jumped in a painting. We did get a little bit of Smash Brothers with the Donkey Kong fight.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get
that was
a lot
absolutely
more.
a smash attack that he hits it with. Launches
And
him
it was
straight up in the air.
It was great. We're gonna get like they're gonna do a lot of Smash Brothers in some sequel to this. Like that's gonna happen, right? Like I think like I wouldn't be surprised if, dude, I would not be surprised if they literally
Just did a
had
Smash
some
Brothers movie.
Well, or they just had a Nintendo. Everybody meets in this one kingdom and they get in a fight. I would not be surprised by that.
Yeah.
You know,
or they all do the Mario Party. I want them to do a Mario Party where they all just play a bunch of mini games.
Man, I want to see
together.
Mario Party in a movie.
and it cheats you at the end, the way that Mario Party always does.
Yeah.
Where everything you did
that-
meaningless. It's all
Or that Wario
meaningless.
minigame series.
WarioWare?
Wario,
Ooh,
yeah. That was some fucked up shit.
What if Mario's dad turned out to be Wario? Like he got
I would
acid
love
thrown
that.
at his face, and it's
Yeah,
like instead of that weird mutton chop thing, it just it sizzles his mustache down to that
would've been
Wario thing.
Yeah, if Koopa in this like burnt him,
Yeah,
and it was like it was like the ending of Star Wars where they like
yeah.
he's all fucked up and
Yeah.
like like Palpatine takes him and like puts the Wario thing on him. Like what if we
Puts the
learned that
purple
Wario is like an
overalls on
armor?
him.
Just
Yeah.
no.
He's encased in purple overalls and a yellow shirt.
It'd be amazing.
And instead of the scene where he goes like, no, he goes like, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This needed Wario. I think this really needed, or at least a hint of
I think
Wario.
it needed Wario. You have Bowser.
I
Wario's a
required
sequel guy.
Wario.
Wario's a sequel guy.
Wario's
I think.
yeah.
Right,
Wario's
but they don't
sequel
even
guy,
tease him. They don't even tease him, and that bothered me. Like I want the Wario and Waluigi. I want at least like them to. I want to see them at the end credits. You know.
Listen,
Again, I don't give a fuck about Yoshi. Yoshi's
don't-
a horse.
You don't give a fuck about Yoshi. You know,
I
Dave,
really don't.
normally I like to yes and your bits, but you're coming out here demanding they create this specific fucking customized Dave experience of
Alright.
Mario, a thing you're not passionate about.
You wouldn't want a Wario to show up.
I love
What
a
if, like,
Wario. I'd love
What
it.
if the ending would be like Mario being like, "Ooh, that I shouldn't have eaten that weird mushroom from before," and then he like rips open his shirt and Wario is forming on his chest.
Oh, yeah,
he's
like
gonna
Quado.
grow out of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then cut to credits.
I kind of wanted there to be a scene where, like, after Bowser proposes, that's when he lets her know, oh, and also I have a bunch of kids that you're going to have to be stepmom to. And we meet all of Bowser's
Yeah.
kids. That would have been pretty good. I would have been into that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Also, they should have had Bowser's final form be in that fucking weird Joker chopper that he has in Super Mario World.
He saw a
Yeah.
couple of random Koopas had him.
They had, right, but that's like, no, bro. Put it Bowser in it because it was the best. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I am genuinely. I guess they combined his castle into the airship, but I really expected to see an airship. But anyway,
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought we'd see him traversing airships to, like that. That's a big part. Again, it's weird. It's weird how little it felt like they actually tried.
Yeah.
I don't know. In the ending where they just get the star, and I honestly forgotten what the star does because I was thinking Mario 64.
oh really?
Oh, really?
Well, I was
yeah,
thinking
loved
Mario
it.
64 where you get the stars at the end of every level, and it looked like that star. It didn't look like an invincibility star. Like, obviously, I knew what that was once they got it, but I just
Yeah.
wasn't. The invincibility star looks different, right?
liked-
It's like,
Oh no, it looks the
I
same.
was okay with that.
No,
No, they're the same.
I didn't mind that as like what Bowser was up to. Like he's like, oh, he's gonna
Right.
go steal the star and make himself invincible. And I'll tell you why I didn't mind that is because when they reveal that that's what he's up to, like it was almost an involuntary reaction from me as somebody who played Mario for 30 years. I was like, oh no.
Right.
No, don't give Bowser that. He
Right,
doesn't
right,
need
right.
that.
Yeah. No, that's too much.
That's too
That's
much,
too
bro.
much. Yeah. Too much for
Yeah, I
him.
didn't mind that. I thought that was kind of. I thought that was a kind of a fun way to. I would have preferred more things like that, where it's kind of working it into the story instead of just pointing at it.
Right. They
Or
if
if you're
there were
gonna point
narrative beats, like if all the things that you care about in Mario had a narrative meaning instead of being, a wink.
right.
Yeah.
Or make the winks better. Because again, I think like I was talking about this on Hypecast about the Barbie movie is like if you're going to reference a bunch of shit, reference the relationship to it. So for example, if in this movie Mario died and then had to start all the way over again and it was like fuck. I mean, he wouldn't say fuck, but you know what I mean? Like if they referenced our relationship with Mario, like things in the game that we remember as playing it. if they did something that made it a little more like cheeky, besides just like these are the things from Mario. Like it didn't feel like it was written by someone who enjoyed Mario. Does that make sense?
Well,
And I'm not saying it needs a bunch of meta jokes. I was like grasping for something.
that's where you land
something
on
where it's like, give me something to show me that you like Mario, that this writer likes Mario.
Well,
you know?
that's where you land on the problem a lot of video game adaptations have, which is a lot of people who make movies or have made movies historically were not big video game fans.
Right.
So they
It's
don't
not
feel
the same
behold.
people. Yeah.
They're not passionate about it. I don't know if that's true in this case because I definitely think there was
It can't be
attention
at this
paid.
point, right?
You wouldn't think.
What's that?
Not
Yeah,
not
it's-
Mario. Mario's
So,
like
like
a
Mario,
40-year-old
like-
franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. This just didn't feel like it was made with love. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh no.
it didn't feel like it was made by someone who cared about Mario in any way,
Well-
shape, or form. Maybe they did, and maybe they were beaten
It's
down
just-
by
it's just-
production note after production note. You know, I don't know how
It's
this
just
was made.
It's very superficial in its celebration of the franchise.
Yeah. It didn't really like.
So I wouldn't say that it seems like it was made by somebody who doesn't love the franchise. It's just everything it does is just very surface level. Like I said, flashcards. Most of it is just
Yeah.
pointing at things and being like, "You remember that?" You're like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I sure do. I remember
sure
this
do.
music.
Jack Black, by the way, is lobbying for Pedro Pascal as Wario.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why
You know.
not?
That'd be pretty chill. Actually,
I don't trust them with Wario anymore, though. I just don't trust these people with Wario.
Eh.
I want like a separate. I need like a competing.
Why is Wario
film.
so precious to you, bro? Why Wario?
I mean,
Why
I
is he so
understand,
precious?
I understand
Wario right,
why
it all
Wario
falls
is
apart.
precious to Dave.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wario? Are you familiar with the character?
He's wonderful. I'm not saying he's
Yeah,
not.
that's
I
that
needed
is.
I needed this to be like the end of Batman Begins, where they hint at like the Joker,
Right.
where like he flips a Wario card or something, and the guy
a
is like, "What about
blood-stained
escalation?"
Wario card.
Yeah, like this is like I want like Mario to die because of Wario, at least temporarily. Like I need like Wario to be just like huge, Thanos level, you know?
It's gonna be funny if they have to retcon that Wario and Waluigi have a relationship with Mario and Luigi from this franchise,
Mhm.
right? Because if they don't have it, there's so many more things to explain. Like, why do they have the same kind of outfits?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
like, why do they feel like riffs on Mario and Luigi? Like, are they basically Bebop and Rocksteady? Like, just creations of the ooze? You know what
That's what I feel like they have to be, is like they have to like step in something and create Wario and
Yeah.
Waluigi.
Yeah.
Like they have to be a reflection of them, an evil reflection.
Right, like they look in a mirror and King Boo tricked them to look into it, and then it's like, I made your reflection.
Otherwise,
I did.
it's weird to just like meet someone with almost your name who's dressed like you almost. Like that would be weird.
I did like
Yeah.
that King Boo was invited to the wedding, and that.
Oh
And
yeah.
I liked that King Bomb or whatever was there too, and Peach
Yeah.
just fucking murders him.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
funny. Yeah, imagine if I showed up in a Hawaiian shirt and called myself Bave. Can you imagine
Exactly.
that?
Right.
that'd
And
be
we
so
hadn't
good.
met before. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
would be
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Be a hell of a weekend.
Yes.
I feel like you guys didn't
Fucking
appreciate
movie.
King Bomb getting murdered at the wedding as much as I did.
It was funny that he blew
I
up.
enjoyed it.
It was funny that he like gave up after us. Like he was like, "That's it
Right,
for me."
he just resigned himself to the darkness.
Right.
I enjoyed that. That part was good.
I am going to go to the space between space.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you set aside the need for a movie experience and just think of it as a cartoon with things that you've seen before, like, and you point and there's a thing, it's pretty good. It's really good.
Yeah,
at that.
watching this, I was like, if I was on shrooms, I bet this would be entertaining enough. You know, if I was just looking at the pretty colors and needed pretty colors,
Yeah, it is a pretty movie.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's still, even that, it just looks like an illumination. You know, I don't know.
To a degree,
It looks like
Mario
Mario.
has a
It's
pretty
Mario,
distinct
yeah.
style to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, and like it has a unique color palette and all that. But like, And this movie absolutely captures that. It feels authentic in that way. But it didn't feel like, if there is a spirit of Mario, like the sort of whimsy of it and the joy of it and even the funniness of it, none of that made it to this movie.
Yeah. No, if this was someone's introduction to Mario, I don't think they would come out of it thinking, they would be like, why is this famous?
Yeah, why do people care?
You know what
about
I mean?
this? Right.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing, is that it's just, the story was shit. Like the story was shit in terms of the characters and in terms of like the adventure, and it was just meh.
Oh, wait. I have one more
Good.
blazing hot take within my chest.
so
that I can't
excited
wait to sing it from the mountaintops or from the highest summit of Koopa Peak.
I'm ready.
Right.
I thought Chris Pratt was fine.
Yeah, he was okay.
He's fine.
Yeah, I didn't care. I didn't
Like he
I
was,
didn't care.
I think that having Charles Martinet do the Mario voice for 90 minutes would have been a bit much. So
I disagree.
I do
but
like
fair
that
enough.
they included it in the movie in a way that kind of made, it was anyway, I like the way that they still managed to include it and recognize that. But I appreciated that Chris Pratt wasn't just like, he was doing he was doing a little bit of a voice, and he wasn't just throwing away lines in his normal speaking voice, and I appreciated that.
He was never the problem. He just represented the problem, and it was our first warning sign. This is going to be a bland movie.
Yeah.
It was never him specifically. It was the idea of, let's cast just the most obvious, inoffensive leading man.
Right.
The problem with Chris Pratt, to me,
Oh.
because it's what
Here
you
we
guys
go.
are saying. No, it's what you guys are saying. It's just that Chris Pratt. So, like in that Magnificent Seven movie, he was really interesting in that, right?
Yeah.
Chris Pratt can be an actor. Put his weird personal life aside, all that shit. He can be a good actor. He can be a comedic actor. He can be an interesting actor. The problem is no one casts him as that, and so he symbolizes like mediocrity, right? Like whenever you say, "And here's Chris Pratt," what you're hearing from the studio is, "We didn't try." And that's what we're saying.
We didn't
right?
think too hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a very inspired choice.
Yeah. For better or for worse, I'm not a big fan of Chris Pratt, but I do think you can use him in a movie in an interesting way. They just don't. They just don't with him. They just stick him in things when they need a white guy, generic white guy. And so that's what it is when they were like, and here's Chris Pratt, everybody was like, fuck. Okay, like, so it's going to be, again, bare minimum.
I don't think that's the only reason, but I do agree with that critique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not the only reason, because, again, I had to put aside people's, like, the weird personal life stuff, the weird shit that I'm honestly haven't paid too much attention to, but I know there's stuff there. It's just that it really does signify, like, we didn't try. We didn't try. We grabbed Chris Pratt.
It's safe. Yeah. It's safe, and it's not a choice that's going to feel like a big choice.
Right. And that, again, in this movie, I thought everybody doing the voice acting did fine. I think there's still that trend of celebrities doing voice acting that I could, that I think is another conversation. I wish we moved away from it.
I'll just say this. I am not a fan in general, or I don't have a problem with casting a big A-list movie star as your animated character in most movies, like Sleeping Beauty as played by Anya Joy Taylor. Fine, I don't care about that.
Taylor
The
Joy.
problem... Did I mess it up?
You did,
Sorry.
but it's fine.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for pointing that out. But this time it's a problem. And the reason it's a problem is there is no more iconic character from this like branch of media than this guy. And his voice,
a very iconic voice.
His voice is Mickey Mouse. Can you imagine if they did a Mickey Mouse thing and they brought in like Seth Rogen to play him? Who, by the way, is also a generic choice. You know what I mean? Like,
he doesn't. I was gonna say
he's just doing Seth Rogen.
Conversely to what I said about Pratt, Seth Rogen is just throwing lines away as Seth Rogen. Like he's not trying.
Yeah. And I don't even think he needed to try because Donkey Kong.
No, he didn't because he fits.
He's fine. But again, imagine if you put Mickey Mouse as Seth Rogen. It's like, what? Like, you can't do that.
a big part of it where it's not only that what Pratt represents, but it's the fact that they're casting one of the most iconic voices, and they're just not doing it.
An actor not known for his voice work, although again he does fine in this.
Yeah, he's not right. Yes,
it's the equivalent of the Sonic when they did when they gave him weird teeth and shit, and everybody was like, "Why did you make him look like that?" It's kind of the same thing, which is like, why would you not do the voice?
That is a little bit of the same thing,
but you know what I mean. It's an iconic part of a character,
right?
And so it's just like, why would you? Why would you get rid of it? You know, it's like the Kevin Smith written Superman where he was like, he can't fly. It's like, well, then it's not Superman, right?
We're gonna have Coke in this, but it'll be a blue can. It's like, what? That's not what Coke is.
It's like that's what Mario. 80% of Mario is that stupid voice.
Yeah, it is. You're right. Yeah. It's dumb. Like, I'm not saying. I think I agree with you, Tom, that it's possible if we'd have heard this ridiculous Italian stereotype for 90 minutes.
Oh yeah,
that I would have been ready to vomit. It's possible, you know.
As someone who's somewhat Italian, it's just funny to see how much Italians have just let slide with that shit. Where they're like, all right, I guess we're gonna have this voice.
It's funny because this movie actually does bring a little bit more of his Italian background into it. In that he's from Brooklyn, he lives with his family. His family's got some plays the Italian family the way you'd expect it, which I guess is stereotypical. But they do play a little bit of that into this character, and I feel like people have totally forgotten that's why Mario sounds the way he does. You know what I mean?
Right.
They tried to justify that.
Voice. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. I still think even if it would have been a chore, I don't know. I'm not on board with it. I'm never going to be on board with it, but it's not Chris Pratt's fault.
I mean, again, he's fine, but I get what you're saying, which is you don't like the overall change.
I would have
rather they got to replace him. Yeah,
this is one of those times where it's I think they needed to sort of shade toward what already existed and just slightly update it. I think it's I think Charlie Day would have been perfect, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's playing Luigi?
I was kind of bummed out that he didn't get to really be Charlie Day at all, because I don't know what that would mean for him to be Charlie Day, but he just was doing a voice I
thought he was doing it fine.
He was doing it. No, everybody's doing it fine.
Characteristic they gave Luigi is that he's a coward, and so he was leaning into it in that way.
Yeah, I get. It's also just that he's not in the movie much,
it's
and
funny,
he doesn't really have
really
anything funny to do or say. He's just,
It's funny how people aren't up in arms about how he was cast as Luigi, because Luigi also has a pretty iconic voice, and they went really far away from that. Yeah,
it at least feels more like a Luigi voice. I don't know why,
because he's a coward. Because that's what you think of Luigi.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's a different take on it, but it's consistent. Chris Pratt doesn't feel like a joyful, playful character. He's just a guy.
Yeah, it's just very generic.
Yeah.
Again, it's just keep going back to that thought of it was just so fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of whatever, should we wind this down? Should we wrap this up?
I mean, we can keep saying that we were disappointed. I got at least one more hour of that.
Who did the Scapelli voice? They didn't call them Scapellis, but that's where they are in the movie. In the 93, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Let it go, Dave.
The rival plumber, because they have the Scapellis in the movie.
Sure, yeah.
Was he also the Mario actor? He might have been.
He might have been. I'm not sure.
I don't know, man.
Because that guy played several people.
I'm looking at. I didn't know John DiMaggio is the uncle in this. That's interesting.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's neat.
I don't remember the fucking
also,
uncle.
who did never mind. I don't have this ready enough to ask. I did enjoy that John Leguizamo refuses to watch this movie. Did you see that?
That's very funny.
Why not?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I really like the lines John Leguizamo has been drawing in the sand lately. I'm enjoying that.
He's just tired of everybody's shit.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck this movie. And I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, are we done? Is this it?
I think we've been done for a while, so let's be officially done now.
Fine.
Okay. Bye.
Atom.
Yeah.
Atom.
Yeah.
Atom.
Yeah. We had a good time,
Atom.
Dave.
We had a nice little date. We got
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Yeah, we like had a good chat afterwards, like a good chat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
we were
That's
good.
cool. I'm
Things
glad.
were-
Yeah.
yeah. We were at
We
City
should have
Walk.
FaceTimed you, as you
should've.
kept begging
should've
us to
FaceTimed
do.
me in there. Nobody would
Did
say
you,
anything.
Did you get like wet at City Walk? Because I got wet.
Did you walk through those
Should
fountains?
I rephrase that?
Did you walk through those
No,
fountains?
I didn't walk through the fountain. There was like a misting
Yeah.
when I was waiting for. I don't know. I think.
Oh yeah, I thought it might be rainy for a second there.
Okay.
Also, Dave and I walked through another mysterious thing that bears being recorded for all of history.
Okay.
So Dave and I are leaving the theater, right? And
Sure.
just remember, it's me and Dave out on the town having a mandate. Like that's what's happening here. So we leave the theater, and there is about 1,000 people collected joyfully in front of a gigantic jumbotron big screen in the middle of City Walk, and all they're doing is shrieking with delight at being filmed and put on this jumbotron. Bear in mind, there's no sporting event, and there's not that many of them. They're just so excited to see themselves on a television like 20 feet away.
Sure.
It was
just
and there
thrilled.
was a DJ on stage, but it felt like that was the entire show. Was just like, let's set a camera up, we film people, put it on a big screen, and they'll be delighted. And they weren't wrong.
They were not wrong.
It was the dangling of keys version of entertainment for a crowd, and it was working. And like,
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it.
I could kind of believe it because
Man.
crowds, I think people are very intelligent. Crowds can be very stupid and in ways that are fun, and it's just like, we're going to film you. And it's all these people on vacation. They probably are out to eat. They just went to the park and they're just like, woo, we're on a big screen, and it's like, sure, enjoy it. I guess.
Yeah, it
Live
just
up.
seemed like it's like you've never seen yourself on a TV before. Like
I don't know.
they were all so thrilled, Tom. Like they were so thrilled, man. I couldn't get over it.
I'm happy
Yeah.
for those people, and I'm happy for you guys that
Yeah.
you got to witness and,
We
and
got to
share
see
their
it.
joy. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to experience it in some way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
As we
Yeah.
fucking walked around City Walk.
Speaking of experiencing joy in some way, that's a sode.
Yeah, it is.
That's
We've done it.
Adam,
We did it.
Adam, plug.
Oh yeah.
Plug at 'em.
Go ahead and check out that One-Upsmanship podcast that I mentioned earlier about the video games, where we talk about which one should be preserved for all time for aliens to see. And if you're like, but that's not enough, Adam, I need more. I'm pleased to announce that I've been doing podcasts for years on the Small Beans Network. Podcasts about directing films, about sharing films with your friends, about the multiverse. I'm sad to announce that Dave and I have never done a podcast series on
Yeah.
this network. Please don't go looking for it. It's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Yeah,
It definitely never happened.
it did not
Yeah.
happen.
And this network is Gamefully Unemployed, GAMEFULLY, unemployed. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there, and some that we do with the Small Beans, co-produced. There's Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's a Maniac, and then we got Star Trek The Next Futurama and Spiel Boys. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons. We will not be watching this Mario Brothers, but we might watch a different Mario Brothers, And we have a Discord. We have a whole community on there, so check it out.
Yeah. We also have a store. Head over to GamefullyUnemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs. You can have t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your fucking mushroomed up peepers onto that.
Slap your mushroom on it.
Slap your mushroom tips.
Yeah.
Slap
Get
them on
those
there.
mushroom tips.
Slap those mushroom tits on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They ate so many mushroom tips, guys. So many.
Tip of the mushroom to you.
I didn't remember the raccoon suit making him fly. I thought it made him turn to stone.
No,
No, it
fly.
makes you fly if you get the pea suit, I believe. If you then you can fly forever in it. I was annoyed that the cat one made it in. Like out of all of them, it's like I know people love it because the meme, but also it's like, bro, how about give him firepower, something, like give him
They
a
didn't-
classic.
Nobody got lit on fire, which bummed me out
Yeah,
because
Mm.
they had it.
yeah.
One
Like
of the- one
Luigi
of the-
was so close to that lava,
one
his
of the-
face should have burnt off.
One of the Koopa Troopas gets immolated, Dave,
Oh, okay. Thank God.
for questioning
God.
Bowser's marriage proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He gets
Yeah.
reduced to a dry bones right in front of our eyes.
and he seems okay with it. He seems very like, yeah, it's fine.
It doesn't seem to be much difference in between, except at some point he's definitely apparently going to have to go out and bury himself so he can burst up out of the ground like a zombie and chase any Luigis that happen to come by.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Their level of sentience is unclear until later on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's like,
How
do
about
they
the
know
blue
that
shell
they're...
guy?
I liked that. I was okay with it. The origin story of the blue shell. I was fine with that.
Was it the wizard?
No,
No.
that's Magic Koopa. The blue shell guy is the guy that gets blown the fuck up on Rainbow Road and then comes walking out of the fire like the Terminator. And he says, "You can't escape me, blue shell." And he turns into the nemesis blue shell and blows up Rainbow Road,
He like suicide
killing
bombs.
himself
Yeah.
in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Were you guys bummed that there wasn't like one Fury Road reference in that scene?
I really thought there
'Cause
would be one. Yes.
Yeah,
I really did.
I wanted a turtle fucking playing a double V
Yes.
next to guitar.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
we needed. We needed somebody to be playing a musical instrument on that giant fucking tractor thing
Yeah.
he's pulling. That's what we
Yeah.
needed. I completely agree.
And then
That'd have been pretty
they would have
chill, yeah.
earned that suicide bombing that apparently happened in this movie.
It
that I
sure
didn't even-
did.
yeah, you just
notice.
forgot. That I've said this 1,000 times and I maintain this. That moment in Fury Road when you see the guitar on that like giant vehicle, the stage vehicle, is one of the greatest moments in cinema history. Like it
Yeah,
deserves
for
to
sure.
be quoted. It should be being quoted by animated films. It's wonderful.
Yes,
Sure.
it,
Yeah.
it is wonderful.
It should be
Yeah.
the next time
God.
the king of the world.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, let's just think about that movie now.
Sure, we
Oh,
can
man.
do that. We can
That's
think
a
about
good
that movie.
Yeah. What if you didn't have an arm, Dave? That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I had little fucking clamps.
Mm.